Our lecture tonight will be a rather short one because we must start the evening preparation for the dictation, which is the most important part of everything in reality. But yet, our lecture, The Harmony of Life, though it may be short, can be of some value to all of you. I want to say then, first of all, that while it may go without saying, it often does not happen that people express the harmony that is inherently builded into this universe. Are there people still out there? Well, there's room in here for quite a few more people. We have extra seats in here in the library.
Most people in the other room have coughs. They don't want to come in. So you have to have people in the library.
Mr. Miller, it isn't the cough that carries you off, it's the coffin they carry you off in. We're about ready to carry off the corpse of the old year and bring in the new little baby. So we'll start our lecture on the harmony of life. We have the strangest incongruency facing us in life on this physical plane, and the fact that everywhere around us we see manifestations of geometric harmony and perfection. If it were not for the outworkings of that perfection, our physical bodies and our minds could not function in a sentient order. But by reason of God's grace, they do. And the fact that they do so wondrously function, that we have such a low mortality rate on this planet. In reality, we do, in spite of the fact that people are dying every day, we still have an improving mortality rate. You know what I mean. Medical science and divine science and all the things put together are really making it possible for people to live happily and healthily on this planet. However, there are many forces that are still conspiring to prevent the manifestation of harmony in life. The battle is far from won. However, our individual battles can be victoriously won for all of us if we will only let go and let God. Recognize what God really means to us. He means the harmony of us all, our own individual harmony and our collective harmony. All of these are established together. It is a heavenly order that pervades the physical universe as well as the mental universe, as well as the spiritual universe. As one of the men discussed with me here in a very limited way, and as I discussed with him in my very limited way, I mean, we are dealing with principles of dynamic symmetry. Even in life itself, we see these principles manifest in the chemical and electrical and geometric order of situations that are before us. Events and so forth are often predicted or projected, both cases, before us. You know what they say, that coming events cast their shadow before them. And I think that the shadow of whatever is going to happen to us in 1972 will, in a sense, in a very real sense, if we will try to discern it, be projected into our consciousness tonight, that we will be able to realize that some marvelous, some wonderful things can happen to us this coming year if we will only cooperate with the harmony of life. The harmony of life has no room in its heart, chalice, for enmity against anyone or anything. It is an open-end situation, you see. The top and the bottom of our cylinder of being is open, and God can flow clean through our consciousness with His sense of harmony if we will it so. If we are indifferent to it, if we say to ourselves, well, it doesn't really matter, I'm not sure, I'm born to lose, you know, and of course now there's been another movie come out in addition to Born to Lose, it says Born to Win, and that sounded an awful lot better, I hope it was. I never saw either one. But anyway, if we will only understand that there is an opportunity that is already picturized in nature for each of us, and then try to avail ourselves of the opportunity of being receptive to that. We don't have to actually know just what specifically is going to happen. We just have to make ourselves available. Make ourselves available to the deity instead of to the host of forces that are rampant on this planet that would like to use our energy and our consciousness and our being and leave us helpless and more or less bleeding, if you will. I don't like the word or sight either, upon the ground. But these are the facts of life. Either we are harmonious or we are inharmonious. And we are the ones who must decide that. If we could make an intellectual argument out of it and say, well, if you go to point A and then you look over at point B and jump to point B and then point C, everything will be well. If we could make it just a simple matter of straight lines or something like that between points, it might be very easy. But life has a very strange way of arranging itself and rearranging itself and conspiring sometimes against us by events that may indeed be in our stars. But the fault lies more in ourselves and in our stars, doesn't it? And so, you see, we have to be willing to live up to the future and realize that we ourselves will make or unmake our own harmony and our own events too, in a sense, because we have a magnetic power inside of ourselves, and this is going to be dreadfully hard to intellectualize. You just can't do it, because there are two forces in the universe, and you may as well face it. There are emotional forces in the universe, sometimes despised by the intellectual man, and there are intellectual forces sometimes not understood by the emotional man. And so the whole man, of necessity, has to be complete in control of his emotions, in control of his thoughts. And we cannot speak disparagingly of anything, because all has been fearfully and wonderfully organized for us by God. And God is within us, seeking to convey his harmony, the harmony of life, to us. He wants more to give it to us sometimes than we think we want to receive it. Isn't that a strange one? Because man loves whimsy. Did you know that? Did you know that people actually like whimsy and the excitement of not knowing just what is going to happen next? People like that. And that's a very, very human quality. And I'm going to tell you that it is anti-harmony of life. More people are thrown into the ditch by this concept of whimsy, of willy-nilliness, just letting things happen, than anything else. You need to make things happen. And unless you learn how to make things happen, you're going to be kicked around by every wind. And you may not make it because you lose your harmony, because you lose your peace by reason of entering into the arena of whimsy. Whimsy is the enemy of man. Order is heaven's first law and must be prevailed upon in our personal life, all the way through. What an opportunity it is then for someone who's all mixed up and confused to just wave the divine magnet over themselves and see all the little iron filings jump into shape. Flux harmony. Geometric harmony. Spiritual harmony. And all the result of contact with love. Most love is motivated. Many marriages are broken in this world because the motive behind the marriage is wrong. Either partner may think to get something out of the other, and that is what they want, is to get something out of the other. Do you see? Marriages should be made to be harmonious from the very beginning. It should be a matter of giving something giving love, giving affection, becoming participators in the ritual drama of existence, and being willing to give as well as receive. So, problems in marriage and problems in personal relationships and problems in business and personal problems, everything is all related to inharmony. Basically, it is a damming up of the flow of life in the cells of being. And when you dam up the flow of life in the cells, disease follows. Almost everything is the result of congestion. And unless we understand how to relieve congestion by the relaxation of our tensions, by the just simple love of life, looking at the sun and the wind and the rain and the darkness of the night and the brightness of the dawn and all that can happen to a man or a woman, and then still be sun-washed and purified by the magnanimous symmetry of the universe, by the constant dropping of perfection from the hand of God. This is in life. And if you don't get it out of life, or don't find the way to get it out of life, you have no one to blame anywhere except yourself. And inasmuch as God says, through Christ, he says, I didn't come into the world to condemn the world, you can't condemn yourself either. So what's left? Whimsy. You see what I mean? I'm trying to point out to you that the harmony of life is there, and that each of us has to get with it. We have to get with that harmony in the vernacular of the times. And if we don't, we may be left behind in this race. Oh yes, we'll have a chance to catch up in the next class. No, not the class of the Summit Lighthouse. The class of those who didn't graduate spiritually from this one. So it is my earnest and sincere prayer that every one of you will take hold of God's harmony in your heart. Reach out for it now. Seek to touch it. Seek to be that harmony that gives and receives, and above all, learns to love the divine motive. Because if we don't love the divine motive more than we love the human motive, we cannot help but be born to lose. But if we love the divine motive and the divine harmony more than we love our personal motives, we cannot help but be born to win. Thank you.